There's only one institution that demands a lifelong bond of faith, praise, and worship, and that is sports. Every religion has symbols that represent them. These are images or items that transcend meaning far beyond its standard physical form. In religion, many of these items can be visible declarations of identity, letting you know what religious groups people sometimes support. And in sports, it's the exact same. Items such as a hijab, yarmulke, turban, or sometimes jewelry such as a cross necklace. These are all visual displays of the faith one follows. Just like within the realm of sports, where fans have player jerseys, scarves, flags, hats, and all types of merchandise. These are as well symbols of faith. Of course, you may come up with the idea that people are obligated to have these religious items as part of their faith, while you can still be a fan of a team and not have any merchandise. This is true, but mentally and socially, there's an unspoken level of certification given when you have team merch on, almost like proof of your faith within the team. Personally, I didn't have any jerseys of my favorite teams growing up, so as soon as I got adult money, a jersey was one of my earliest purchases. But these symbols of faith aren't only limited to what you wear. One of the most famous examples is athletes hilariously attempting to avoid stepping on opponents' logos as a sign of respect. These symbols of faith can also be what you are surrounded with, whether it's the poster of your favorite team plastered on the wall, or the player on your phone background. It's the same way you have your cross on the wall, the same thought process, the same devotion, the same aesthetic choices. But how does one acquire this faith? Like almost everything in life, it is taught and learned from other people, usually the ones you are around the most, and that tends to be friends and family. For many people, they became a fan of their team in the same way, from a family member. Being forced to go to religious school on the weekends or after class, having to read religious books that you didn't understand as a child but grew to memorize and recite as you got older. Either way, you likely didn't choose this, it just became tradition. But teaching someone to follow without pushback or questioning is by definition indoctrination. Of course, not in the way we traditionally think of it, like brainwashing, but still indoctrination. This is visible in many ways. Having a certain team on the TV your dad is cheering for, the photos of infants dressed in uniforms before they even understand the sport, or being brought to the games as a child. No matter what, you were led down this path and never really got to choose, leading people to be initiated into a fandom that has been passed down generations, forcing you to be stuck with a mediocre team that was better before iPhones existed, but now you can never leave them no matter how bad they perform, because you have to be religiously loyal to the team. When it comes to loyalty, there might not be any category where religion and sports are more alike. Loyalty is the number one rule, as it is seen as a major taboo to switch either your religion or team. Not saying that you can't though. Every single fan has had a shit season, whether it's your team blowing a big game badly, being at the bottom of the table, going 0-16, drastically underperforming, blowing an embarrassing lead, or winning the draft lottery. Sometimes your team is terrible for years before they actually become good again, and that's what makes it so much sweeter when they win. The persistence truly does mirror spiritual faith. The unshakable belief that someday everything will be right, all of the factors will align, and what you have imagined for years will become reality. I'm still a Mavericks fan after we did the worst trade in sports history. If you know, you know. And check my video out if you don't. Just like religion, this hope isn't optional. It is the foundation of faith. Every single religion has major historical features. Different prophets, saints, and religious figures all have historical tales of making the impossible happen. But for years, many people have wondered, how real are these stories? Are they 100% true or exaggerated, miscommunicated or mistranslated over time? Regardless of what you believe, many of these stories were originally passed down via word of mouth until they were written down. When it comes to the world of athletes, this greatness is still just as prevalent. Athletes making impossible move after impossible move to score, taking and making shots that no one else on the court would even consider, let alone score.
Too far for Ronaldo to think about it. Oh!
You do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh!
It makes you wonder if the greatness you have heard of in the past would be able to translate and keep up to the game in the current day, especially with how many people now doubt the validity of athletes from the past. Would Pele be elite if he played today? Did Wilt Chamberlain actually score 100 if there's no video of it? Who's actually better, Babe Ruth or Shohei Ohtani? Constantly as humans, we have the desire to know, especially when it comes to things that we don't know. You will never be able to know how good Pele would be in the Champions League, or how Wilt would match up against Jokic and Giannis, or if Ohtani would strike out Babe Ruth. Yet these comparisons arise endlessly every day. It is just to show that for many people, these athletes are historical figures that they hold just as highly. Their jerseys, shoes, and personal items become cherished artifacts that as their prime years age more and more, become more and more valuable. Almost every single war between groups has had a difference in religion, even if they are sects of the same main religion. Usually religion plays a part in any major conflict. Speaking of historical matchups, some of these resulted in crusades, 30-year wars, and many more. Just like these religious conflicts, teams now still have constant fights on the field for all types of different reasons. Some games it's just an egregiously hard foul, while other games it's a historical rivalry where the players bleed the color of the team. While there are some matchups that were initially artificially generated, they now have become full-fledged rivalries. But the conflicts aren't only limited to the players you see on the field. Arguably, the fans are worse, as there are infinite videos of fan conflict you can find online, fighting all over a difference in teams who are playing the same exact sport. How ironic. On one level, you could count just being a fan of basketball under the umbrella of sports like a denomination within a religion, similar to Protestant or Catholic within the realm of Christianity. But you can also consider being a fan of a team like Liverpool within the sport of football as a denomination as well. We haven't even gone deep enough yet. Within a team like Liverpool, you have the bandwagons, the casuals, the old heads, the hardcores, and of course, the most deeply invested, the ultras. Their devotion is truly absolute. They live, breathe, and sleep the club, going to every game and even talking to the players. These are the most devout fans that serve to be the foundation of clubs, throwing smoke bombs that block out vision, tiftos that troll the other team, call and response chants.
What do we think of Tottenham? What do we think of shit? Thank you.
Player songs, or team mottos in an attempt to enrage players. But this fandom isn't only limited to the fan experiences within the stadium. It is arguably just as strong outside of the stadium. Outside, some fans have tailgates in the parking lot every weekend, watch parties at bars in the neighboring areas, and even online streams and forums where people around the globe can talk about the game simultaneously, thus further developing the small fan groups for specific leagues, teams, or even players within the sport. If religions have sects and denominations, sports have supporter groups with banners, chants, and smoke bombs. Yet all of these different fan groups create the expanding community around the globe. Speaking of community, one of the biggest factors in the modern day is the expansion of sports to other countries. Before, teams generally used to have players from the surrounding area, or if they were lucky enough, from around their country. But now, teams go across country lines, across oceans to different continents in search of players that can boost the team's success. And with this, the team's faith gets spread around the globe. Teams that generally only had fans from their region now have fans from all over the country. And then the country became the continent, and then the continent became the world. People are fans of a team from a country that they don't even speak the language of. And the teams have fed into this globalization, not just with the rise of the internet, but with overseas preseason games where they go and spread their play like missionaries for the sport, creating superfans from countries who have never interacted with each other. But where do these fans go to sing their praises? Like the mosques, synagogues, churches, and temples, people go to these places of worship knowing that they will find hundreds of other people that believe in the same faith as them. Just like a stadium, fans make their way to join other people who believe in the same thing as them, their team. There are even famous stadiums that people travel tons of miles to just to see, like the famous places of worship. There's the Bernabeu, Madison Square Garden, Maracana, Wembley, Fenway, Old Trafford, or the Rose Bowl. I can genuinely go on and on about these iconic locations. These are places so iconic that people plan vacations around making sure they can stop at them, as they have become true meccas of the sports world. But even more so, when it comes to parts of the sports world, one of my favorite things about the internet now is how hard people will defend their favorite players, no matter how ridiculous it is. It's like people trying to act as if Messi versus Ronaldo is still a debate, but they will never give it up no matter what, honestly. It's due to the emotional investment people have with these players. I can't blame them, except for when they're extremely stubborn with their ridiculous takes. But protecting the stars of their team no matter what shows how deep to the core their fandom truly is. As I'm making this video, you have Salah versus Arne Slot going on, players and fans on both sides of the argument. So what a coincidence. Lastly, when you think about religion, one of the biggest foundations of it is its traditions and rituals. And it's the same in sports. Not only rituals the players have, but the ones fans have as well. And there are countless examples of this. Michael Jordan wearing college shorts underneath his uniform, Nadal's water bottle placement, or sometimes they even have celebrations, like Ronaldo's Tui or the LeBron chalk toss. There have even been occasions where teams will unite together in an attempt to become more unified by not shaving until the playoffs are over, more commonly known as the playoff beard, which originated from hockey. Even historically, sports were seen as part of religion. Many believe the idea of sport itself was a ritual in a way to communicate with gods or offer up servings. Rituals, superstitions, and lucky charms are an essential part of sports. In the end, even though they might never be compared, sports and religion are different in purpose, but identical in practice. Community, passion, and belief are key traits of the human experience, and it's part of the need to feel in connection with something greater than yourself. Sports has become one of humanity's most powerful belief systems, arguably the most powerful. This is Gade Films. Like, comment, subscribe, and stay fantastic.